Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I've got for you this morning, we're going to further break down a few more of the clips from the Supreme Court hearing around Chevron deference. Now, I did a video last night around from Gorsuch's comments, some of them, around how the individual always loses. The system is always stacked against the individual. A sitting court justice, by the way. Well, now I'm going to show you some other things that he said around judges abdicating their responsibility and how the system is further rigged against judges for the executive state, for the executive bureaucracies. Again, guys, if you missed this whole thing that we live streamed yesterday, this was a powerful hearing. Now, of course, everything's going to be linked in the description box below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field. And, of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And this content is brought to you by American Hartford Gold. I'm going to say a quick word, and then we're going to get back to these clips. Content today is brought to you by American Hartford Gold. And brothers and sisters, with everything popping off around the world, wars cracking off, we've got inflation issues, we've got stock market volatility, we have cash concerns, we have oil concerns. It's a good time to take a look at least know your options with American Hartford Gold. They are dedicated to offering gold, silver, platinum, coins, and bars for your investing needs. Whether you want to do it delivered to your door or you want an IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, TSP, they've got options. This is something you guys should check out. At American Hartford Gold, they aim to educate clients about investments in the precious metal industry, strive to provide unparalleled customer service built on trust, integrity, and absolute transparency, while holding a goal of achieving 100% customer satisfaction. Click the link in the description or call 844-727-3199. That's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. Again, that's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. All right, guys, we've got to get into this because it was so vindicating to hear a Supreme Court justice say the same arguments that we've been talking about for a while now. Look at what's happening. Look at what Chevron deference has done over 40 years and where it's brought us. This is incredibly powerful stuff. I got 3 clips. Let me show you this first one as he's walking through. Again, this is Justice Gorsuch. This is before I even get to any of the other ones because I got a lot of clips from this thing.
Hypotheticals, which are hard ones, that one option would be to say it's ambiguous and therefore the agency always wins. That's what I understood Chevron to mean, at least coming in here today. Another would be to listen carefully to both sides and provide special weight under Skidmore to a co-equal branch of government's views about the law, which one would think we would do anyway, and that they would have be considered great weight in arriving at the best answer, and that's what a court would do if there were no interpretive principles advanced by the executive branch, if there hadn't been some sort of rule or adjudication. Is that correct?
I think that's correct, and I think the difference between the Skidmore approach that you just laid out and the Chevron approach is just at the end of the day, once you've considered all the expertise and all the information the agency has to bear.
Who decides?
Who decides? Is the judge persuaded or not persuaded?
Is the judge persuaded at the end of the day with proper deference given to a co-equal branch of government? Or does the judge abdicate that responsibility and say automatically whatever the agency says wins?
Or does the judge abdicate his responsibility and say the agency wins automatically because Chevron deference, whatever they say, they're the experts? You understand what he's going after there. This is some really powerful stuff, guys, specifically since they are determining if they rewrite or remove Chevron deference. This is a big one, all right? And that was just the first clip. Special note, by the way, this second clip as we go into it, he starts by smacking one of the leftist judges who tries to interrupt him. I personally got a lot of joy out of that, but check this out.
Not persuaded.
But Mr. Question Martinez, doesn't that...
I might just finish up. What's the effective difference of that? It seems to me that in the first case, when a judge says, here's the law, it's settled, we're done, right? It can be appealed. But at the end of the day, if the Supreme Court of the United States upholds that interpretation, we're finished. Whereas under the Chevron approach, are we finished?
No.
What happens?
I think the agency can overrule what the court said. The agency can overrule what itself said. I think that's a very strange thing that in every other area of statutory interpretation, we understand the law to have one fixed meaning, and the goal was to try to figure out that fixed meaning. But Chevron, by design, creates this world in which the agency is because there's this zone of discretion, the agency in ambiguity, the agency can kind of flip-flop and then force courts to flip-flop with that.
And I'm struck on that score by the Brand X case, which involved broadband, in which this court said, okay, agency, you automatically win with respect to one interpretation, the Bush administration, I believe it was. And then, of course, the next administration came back and proposed an opposite rule.
Right.
And then the next administration came back and flipped it back closer to the first. And as I understand it, the present administration is thinking about going back to where.
You see what he's saying? So last night I showed you how the deck was stacked against the individual from Gorsuch's perspective. Well, now Gorsuch is going after the idea that the executive bureaucracies flip back and forth, utilizing the exact same law. So if this is representing the law, right, and you have the conservative comes in and wins, and they utilize Chevron deference to say, we're going to go this way through the interpretation. Then the left comes in and they say, no, we're going to interpret it this way. You understand, the law never changed. All that changed is the implementation based off of executive bureaucratic interpretation. That's what he's hitting on. They flip forth back and forth because they want their end policy goals. In fact, Kavanaugh said some statements around the idea that they kind of do whatever they want based on their policy goals, circumventing Congress. Wait till I show you that one. But understand what he's saying here. Gorsuch, he clearly has been thinking about this for a while and ruminating on it, because he's hitting, last night I showed you, he's hitting all the individuals being victimized by the system. Now he's showing you how the government utilizes and takes advantage of it. Now the third one, check this out.
That's exactly right, Justice Gorsuch, and I think it plays up the real problem. I mean, Chevron really is a reliance-destroying doctrine. Imagine if you're a person or a regulated entity and you're trying to figure out what the law is. You should be able to rely on the best interpretation of the law and not have to, check the CFR every couple of years to see if the law has somehow changed, even though Congress hasn't acted.
Nailed it right there. The lawyer trying to attack Chevron deference, I think nailed it. That was one of the strongest statements in the entire thing from him. He basically said, imagine having to change follow a law that's been interpreted different ways, in my earlier example, without Congress even acting. The body who legislates all laws in our entire country does nothing, but you have to change and review laws in the legal framework based off of who's in power and what bureaucratic entity wants to change it. If that does not simplify it for you guys, I don't know what can, because that guy did a really good job, and Gorsuch clearly has a problem with this. My personal opinion, it sounded like this is going to get smoked, but I'm not a justice, nor am I a lawyer, nor was I there. That's just my opinion from the outside. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.